What's up, y'all? Happy Friday. I'm waiting for one more connection. There we go. I don't know why I thought I was going to do this live without my glasses on, but we finna put these. Trying to read without the glasses. Hope you guys are doing amazing. We made it another day. I was going to sing my Friday song. It's Friday. I will start rapping. Somebody came in the shop the other day and I was saying how I'm from Jersey. Everybody from Jersey know how to rap, right? All right, we just going to jump into this. 5 minutes. Today is day number 7, y'all. We got 83 more days to go. Look at that. Progress is progress. 1% better every day. So if you guys have not been following, we are talking about how we can become unstuck and unstoppable in 90 days. So I'm just bringing you guys along my journey. For those of you that are joining us for the very first time, my name is Crystal. Some people call me Little Baller. I'm your results and transformation coach over here, just building it better every single day. So let me get my book together. So what we're talking about for the next few days is going to be the 12 pillars. I mentioned this yesterday. Great book, great book. I read this book a couple times a year, along with the 4 agreements. So you really want to become better. My personal opinion, grab this book, grab the 4 agreements. It's one thing to read it, right? It's one thing to have the information. It's a whole total different thing when you actually apply it. So just having the information and not applying it is not going to do us any good. But if you commit to, and this is for those of us that really want to become better, like 1% better every day. Yo, this joint is great. So yesterday we talked about pillar number 1. The only way things are going to change is if you change or when you change. Today, pillar number 2, you should make sure that the outside of you is a good reflection of the inside of you. And we could probably talk about this all day long because I think my mic is rubbing on my neck. In the society that we live in, a lot of times you will see people dress up, right? And we look amazing. I'm working on it. Speaking of working on it, dang, I don't have it out. My lips are dry. That's my definition of having a beat face, is make sure my lips are not dry. But I digress. So a lot of times we will put a lot of energy into making sure that our clothes look amazing, put that foundation on and all that good stuff. And sometimes we'll step outside and people will see us. We see it on social media all the time, where you see the glitz and the glamours. And then when you have a conversation with a person, their appearance does not coincide with how they feel on the inside. So I think if we work on feeling amazing on the inside, eventually it will pour out on the outside of us. So I'm just going to share what we got from chapter number 2. Live a life of health. You should make sure that the outside of you is a good reflection of the inside of you. So what did I highlight? This is going to be real fast. Okay. We're talking about 3-dimensional health here. A person is made up of 3 parts: the body, the soul, and the spirit. We call it 3-dimensional. So it's obvious that we have a body, right? The second part would be the soul. So soul, which is basically our intellect and our emotions, also our will. And then you have your spirit. So I have this underlined for some reason. I'm just going to read what I've underlined and highlighted. You have some people who work on their physical health. And don't get me wrong, of course, we want to make sure that physically we are doing great. But we need to work on ourselves, because for so many people that is in an area, I'm sorry, I'm tripping. Let me read it like the way I'm gonna say this better. It's on the book for a reason. This is where I could get better at. Okay. You have some people who work on their physical health. Now, don't get me wrong. We need to work on ourselves, because for so many people, that's the area that we typically neglect. Have you ever noticed that some people take better care of their pets than they do themselves? And that's true. They'll make sure their pets are good, their kids are good. I'm gonna talk to the ladies. We sometimes make sure everybody else is good. But when you look at our health, we're not doing the best that we could be doing. And that show up and you're not feeling good, not having, a great amount of energy, so forth and so on. And then there are people who are so spiritual that they are no earthly good. You ever meet those people that are just, I know a couple myself, they're just super spiritual, right? But when you look at other parts of their life, they don't have it together. And when I talk about, I always talk about total transformation, mind, body, and soul. I personally believe that when you work on all three of those, you get to become the best version of yourself. Whether you work on them simultaneously or here a little, there a little, but I see people that, I love to work out in the gym. I've been in the gym for years, and I've seen people who have amazing bodies. But when you have a conversation with them, mentally and spiritually, they are off. Not everybody, and this is not Crystal, but I'm going to tell you right now, I'm not trying to, it's not that I'm not trying. So my message, I'm not throwing stones at any of these three people. I'm just sharing how you can see the imbalance. And the whole goal is just make sure that's not you. So, again, you have conversations with them, and mentally they may be off, spiritually they may be off. And then you'll find some people that are just, they hit the nail spiritually, but physically they're off and mentally they're off. And then you'll meet those geniuses that are just like, when it comes to mindset, like they just nailed it. But spiritually they may be off, and physically they may be off. So this is why I say, like, when you really lock in and work on all three of those, you get to become the best version of yourself, if you choose to. And I'm sure we all know people in all three of those different lanes. And I'm one of those people, like, not here to judge anybody. A lot of times when I'm looking out and I'm observing how I don't want to be or how I want to be. Like, we get to look left and we get to look right for motivation and inspiration, or what to do or what not to do. But, you want to make sure you stay focused on where it is that you're going, because the moment we start to hone in on this one's not doing that, and people do that a lot too. We'll get that finger out and we'll point, oh, this one, ooh, they're unhealthy. I hear it all the time. We as a people are so judgmental, if you will, if I can use that word, that we'll look at people and we'll talk about what they do and how they do it. And, I just really choose to pray for people, seriously, because and I had this conversation. I was talking about my kids earlier, and I was saying how, we were talking about grace and we were talking about mercy, and how we've all done dumb things at one point or another. And I choose to, this is why we should be careful with how we flick off on people or how we point our fingers at people. I just choose to show up in a space of grace, and I'll pray for somebody, because in the back of my mind, you're only 2 seconds away from wherever they are, believe it or not. Like, it could be you. So when you approach a situation with the mindset of, man, that could have been one of my kids, how would I want somebody to respond to my kids? I respond to other people's children the same way I want people to respond to mine, whether my kids are, right now they're pretty much all grown. But if we go around, sometimes we treat people different because they're not related to us, or we treat people different because of, whatever your reason is. But, I would love to enroll everybody into, that would be nice. Like, really treating people and giving people grace and mercy, the same type of grace and mercy that you will want extended yourself. Because that's why a lot of times I just sit back and I just look and I just listen, and I just be like, Lord, it could have been me. And I'm just grateful that it's not. And if it's somebody that is in a situation that, if it's somebody in a situation or doing something that I don't think that, is in their best interest or whatever, or for the community or whatever, however you want to wrap it up, I just simply pray for them. And when you do that sincerely, like when you have friends like that, I reposted a post earlier about that. Like, it's nice to hang out and have fun. It's nice to go to parties. It's nice to go to the movies. It's nice to go out to dinner. And I don't know if it's just me telling my age or me becoming older or seasoned is what I like to call it. Like, I want friends that, that are willing to call me out when I'm not doing what I'm supposed to be doing. I just don't want the friends that just want to be around when we're having sorry. Hey, can I call you right back? I'm finishing my live. Sorry. It was one of the kids. So I had to answer. So as I was saying, I don't want to just be around people that's just there when it's party time, because life get rough. And, you ever had that friend that when you dead wrong, they just be like, go ahead, girl, nah, pull your coattails. So I'm grateful to have those friends that are like, look, it's time to turn our plate down, or it's time to, for real, pray and So if you have those, if you're connected to those people that you have friends that just show up when it's time to have a good time, like it's, I'm about to be 50 soon. And so most of the people I hang around with are not young. So I'm pretty much talking to my seasoned folks. But if you're always right and you're never wrong, or you're surrounding yourself around people that always only see the good in you, my personal opinion, pack your bags and like detach. And I'm talking to those of us that really want to become better. And we have to also give our folks permission to call us out. And when I say call us out, I'm not talking about disrespectfully, because if you're my friend and you're doing wrong, what good is it for me to call you out in front of people? You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. But what did the lady say? I reposted Kim's message the other day. She's on, I don't know if she's an evangelist or what she is, but she's I love the way she speaks. But what she said was, if she had a booger on her nose and you're her friend, tell me I have a booger on my nose. Don't just stare at me. She ended it with saying something like, when you don't speak up, I feel like you want me to lose. And when she said that, I was like, oh, that's really good. Because people think friends are those that are always making you feel good. Nah, sometimes your friend gonna tap you on your shoulder, call you out, or however we want to put it. And it's not always gonna feel good. But if you know that I love you, or if I know that my friends, this is why you gotta be careful of the people you are around. But if you know that they have your best interests at heart, your feelings might be a little hurt. That's okay. It happens. It's just like our kids. Like, we don't all, when you're raising your kids, you love them, but they're not always going to be fluffy. We want to make sure that they make it. We want to make sure that they stay safe. We want to make sure that they stay covered. We want to make sure that they stay protected. So we're not going to dance around. Sometimes it's a hard conversation, and while they may not see it now, later on, they'll thank you for covering it. Same thing with your kids should be the same way with the friends that you hang around with. And, I say this over and over and over and over, and I'm never going to stop saying it. Like, it boggles my mind when people complain about their circumstances or their circle. It's like, listen, you're not a tree. You can move. Even if I do it myself sometimes. They say, well, there's a quote that talk about how sometimes you being separated, or your separation, is going to be required for you to be elevated. One, everybody can't go where you're going. Be okay with that. Two, it's not that I'm saying I'll never show up in a space like I'm too good to be around anybody, but sometimes we got goals and we got things we're working on, and this is going to require just you and you, not you and Kelly and Pam. And though we want to bring our friends, even when we are going for certain achievements, like say there's some things that God just had for you. And I've learned this the hard way, because, I'm one of those people, I get excited. I'm trying to bring everybody along. But I learned, it took me like 50 times, 50 lessons to learn, everybody can't go with you. And it doesn't mean, and I felt bad sometimes where it's like, hey, this is going to require just you, not you and them and them and them and them. And then after a while you realize, oh, okay, I see it now. And it could be for, like, we never know what the lesson is sometimes, or, yes, what the lesson is until afterwards. Sometimes when you're in the middle of the storm, you don't get the lesson. It don't feel good. But when you come out and you look, you're like, oh, got it. I see why that happened the way it happened. Doesn't mean that I don't still love everybody. Doesn't mean that, that my friends I have, that I don't care about them. But there's some things that God had for you that other people just can't come. Or maybe he's trying your faith. Or like, you just don't know. Like I said, I've been here several times where it's like, hello, Dodo, after the fifth time, and, get the lesson. And we'll talk about that another time, just opening up our ears and like having an ear to hear, and then the faith to do that which you hear. Because we will, I could talk about Crystal all day. I don't know about y'all, but maybe it doesn't happen the same way for everybody else. So I only could share from my own experiences, where you hear it, and then you're just like, nah, you hear it, but you don't hear it. You know how, you heard your mom say, hey, you got come in the house, you calling, and you be like, nah, that ain't my mom, that's somebody else's mom. And then when she come out there, and when you see your mom coming down the street, you realize, yes, oh, keep the glasses on. Yes, she was calling you. God worked the same way. And yeah, so I'm grateful for those lessons. But man, so all right, let me go back to the book. See, I digress, but let me get back to the book. Okay, it says the spiritual is at the core. And this is like key. It talks about the 3-layer onion, excuse me. You peel each layer back until you get to the core. So we talked about the health, we talked about the body, we talked about the what's the second? Dang, I missed my slide. We talked about 3-dimensional. We talked about the body, right? Then we talked about our soul, which is our emotions, etc. Now we're talking about the spirit. So it says, we peel each layer back until you get to the core. The spiritual is at the core and is the most important. Then the second layer is the soul, and the outer layer is the physical, which is the body. But something else I had. One more thing. I think. Okay, and I just highlighted this last. How we should always take good care of our body because it's the only place that we have to live. And not only that, I won't go into number 3 because number 3 is going to be for tomorrow. And it's the only place we have to live, y'all. We only get one of these. And that's why I said, man, we got to stop playing small. We got to really stop playing small. Really be committed, be committed to our commitment and be committed to playing full out. You know, I'm grateful when I say I wake up, and I'm grateful for the wake up and all that good stuff. That's real. There may be somebody either watching this now or watching this later who had a loved one that may have been present today. And, you know, we wake up tomorrow and they're no longer here. So every time I say that, like my heart dropped. I literally take my mind back to that time I had that accident and I really didn't think I was going to see tomorrow. And when you start putting yourself in those spaces and thinking of those things, you just become supernatural grateful to like the 10th degree, because tomorrow is real. And when you work on yourself like that, you're not scared to say it, because truth be told, like we all have an expiration date. We don't know if we're going to see tomorrow. You know, whether it's from these lives that I'm like 90 days. Every time I say I'm going live for 90 days, my heart is like, girl, why you do that? But at the end of the 90 days, there may not be a day 91. That's real. Like, so, you know, a day after or a moment after we're done, it's too late. So it's like, why not show up for yourself and play full out now? So I'm super excited. We're talking about becoming unstuck and becoming unstoppable. All the power that you need is in your hands. You have to be willing to change. And as I said yesterday, the day before, I'm probably going to say it every one of these 90 days. You may not be able to change your destination overnight, but you sure enough can change the set of your sails. So you know, your future, your tomorrow, your next 5 minutes is really in your hand. You get to sit and think about the things that you want, and then be bold enough to show up and make it happen. So that's all I have for y'all. It's Friday. So I love you guys. Remember to do something today that your future self is going to thank you for those of you that truly, and I mean truly, because, you know, some people are like, I'm going to pray for you. And don't get me wrong. I'll take any prayer. Pray for her. But those of you that truly have a word of prayer, just pray that I continue on the path that God have created me to. I didn't say that the way I wanted to say it. Let me say it over. So you get to say it over because it's my life. But in sincerity, in all sincerity, those of you that have a word of prayer, just pray that I just stay humble, because I never want to be an arrogant person, that I stay humble, that I keep my ears open, and that I walk by faith and just really do the things that God put me on this earth to do. And give me the strength to carry all that out. So y'all have an amazing night, and I will holler at you later. Love you. That's it for us in the video. Hey, today is day what? 7. Yes. Whew. We got a long time to go. Okay. Boop.